people don't want to feel that there's something wrong with them, especially if you're already dealing with a lot of different things. I mean, now I got to deal with this. Now I got, like in quotes, like, you're retarded, I'm crazy, I'm this. I mean, it's another thing, it's another burden. And also, there's not a lot of people in health. I mean, there are some, but there's not a great amount of people who are in health professions that look like black people. I mean, I went to school with a lot of different people who were going into black communities, and they didn't look like me. I was the only person in class sometimes. And why would I go tell this white person?
So I think one reason is lack of education in regards to just mental health in general. And again, as others have mentioned, the label is being crazy. So I know that's something that a lot of people are afraid of being labeled as crazy. And going back to the educational piece, I just don't think there's enough education going on, especially like the inner city, in regards, these are the resources. Me in my current role, I mean, I have a lot of experience with connecting individuals to resources, so there are resources through the state, through local mental health clinics, things like that, but people don't know about that.
As soon as you start talking about like therapy and all this kind of stuff, it's automatically linked to that you're crazy. So there's just such a negative stigma around like mental health that we don't want any part of it. And we also fear things that we don't really have any knowledge or education on. So since we, it's not talked about it, so since it's not talked about, we don't know anything about it. So, it's almost like the AIDS epidemic of the 80s. You don't know anything about it, so just keep it.
I think that going to therapy, number one, will kind of identify you as weak. I'm not judging, but I think in the black community, for you to reach out for help, I think that a lot of people believe and I think that's the issue. And I think it's the whole issue of not understanding. I think people fear what they don't understand, and I think you have this stereotypical idea of a therapist laying on the couch and then you have to pour your heart and your feelings out, and you don't really see it as being something helpful. You kind of see it as
how we're programmed and how we're raised. I think because of slavery and because we're free now, we shouldn't depend on the white man's therapy or the white man's answer to mental health problems. A lot of it is that black people don't believe that anything that goes on in the mind is real. I think a lot of it is we're institutionalized, not just as far as being incarcerated or the things we learn at home, but a good portion of it too, even from my experience is church. The church has taught people that all you have to do is take care of the spirit and then the body will heal itself, when in actuality we're made up of so many different components. So I think it's a lot of it too.
It's definitely a big culture thing and definitely a big stigma thing. I don't know, I know within my family, everything was kind of just looked as, it wasn't as a serious issue, it's not a major issue, and then, eventually things would just get better. I know a lot of people, I know religion and church is a big thing, so I know a lot of people resort to that as trying to help them with their mental issues, and there's nothing wrong with that, but then again, there's also other more in-depth issues that possibly needs to be done that that can't just be solved just basically on religion and hope and prayer. So to go back, I definitely think it's a stigma for sure. I definitely think it's I think that the stigma of just being labeled as crazy. I think people assume that once you go to therapy, try to get help, they're gonna have that label as crazy and just kind of weird. And I don't think they want the stigma, or I think just not taking it as important as it is.
The reason growing up in the 80s, it was told that you keep your problems in the household. Do not go out and discuss any issues that are going on, and we're just going to pray about it. It's coming from a spiritual family. We prayed about issues, and you bring it to God and you leave it there, and not realizing that God placed other resources on this earth to use, and people just tend not to use those resources.